Hello, this is Yahweasel. Let's radically dream. And let's kill some goblins. They all turn around, staring at me blankly for a moment before their expressions turn to rage. You just came out here to die, didn't you, little man? Gulp. Yeah, it seems that I did. You really wanted us to trample over your head with that badly? Well, I suppose we can accommodate you, the goblin boss says, giving a deep laugh. Without a moment's hesitation, Kid shouts back, Don't think you could easily pick a fight with the likes of the great Kid and get away with it. Really, Magil is going to save us here. Wait a minute, so you're the elusive Kid, the boss asks, as his eyes softly narrow. How sweet this is. Perhaps if I deliver your head to Lord Lynx, he'll give me a nice reward. And then they all die because Magil is here. The boss goblin takes it. Is it not a he? Does it not? Okay. The boss goblin takes its morning star from its side. The huge iron ball jangles down to the floor. Please don't confuse us with just any ordinary goblins, striking fear into the hearts of men everywhere. We are Lynx's elite security force, the fearsome magical gobbler team. We are actually turkeys. Gobble, gobble, gobble. If you got time to spout off all that nonsense, then you sure enough got time to get your arses kicked, Kid shouts, exploding with a fierce roundhouse kick. The goblin teeters and staggers, dizzied by the brunt of her attack. Let's get 'em, boys! Starting with that little twerp over there. Oh, this is gonna be them, whatever. Metal balls begin to swing around, swooshing through the air with deadly speed. Jet Gobbler attack, now! Sliding across the floor like wind, the goblins simultaneously rush us. Look. Uh-oh. Parry! Frantically parrying the goblin's attack. I was so amused by the image that I didn't realize I have to actually react quickly. Frantically parrying the goblin's attack, I try to lunge with my knife. Quick as a mouse, I slice into the goblin's side. It lets loose a gnarling scream of pain as its putrid face contorts in agony. Kid comes to my aid, delivering a lightning-quick strike to one of the goblins. What's the matter, huh? Where are your magical gobbler skills now, or whatever you call it? Goblin can't help but collapse on the floor in pain. Kid boots it in the jaw before backing away for her next attack. Quit screwing around, Serge. Keep your eye on your own trouble. Another huge iron ball whizzes through the air, swinging down towards me. Roll and dodge. As quickly as I can, I roll over and try to dodge the attack. Yes, the iron ball smashes into the floor, sending sparks flying everywhere. It misses me by a hair's breadth. I frantically scramble away from the weapon. Looking up, all I see is a goblin coming at me head-on. Parry again! The parry worked before. Try to lunge with my knife. However, before I can do anything, the goblin snaps me up in his thick arms and smashes as hard as it can into the floor. My mind goes completely blank from the shock. Kid comes to my aid, delivering a lightning-quick strike to one of the goblins. What's the matter, huh? Blah, 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 blah. This is the same. I think there were 5 total, so that's 2. Well, let's try the other one. I've got to think of a better strategy than just standing around. I quickly put my weight onto the goblin, trying to force it off balance. Unfazed, the goblin moves only a little as I collide with it. I, however, bump off and tumble onto the ground. That's sort of what I assumed would happen, but, repeating the same action didn't work last time. Ugh, I scream as the goblin kicks me in the ribs. Just then, I start to hear an odd howling noise from behind me. I turn around to see Magil's black wind spell streaking out from his fingertips, transforming in midair into a countless number of razors. They fly like homing missiles into one of the goblins, cutting it to shreds. How can a human have such power? Who are you? Ugh! The goblin shrieks in fear as its body is effortlessly torn to pieces. Magil's expression remains unchanged as he silently surveys the scene, looking for his next target. Looking up, all I see is a goblin coming for the parry again. It seems that no matter what I do, I just get hurt. I mean, there's clearly it's weird because there must be some pattern that's correct, but I have no idea how you would guess it. So I'm quite hurt now. Long live Lord Lynx! Glory to the magical gobblers, says the last of the goblins as it comes crashing to the ground in a bloody mess. Whew, that's the last of them. Easy. Easy, says Kid, wiping some sweat off her brow. Serge, you goof, I can take care of myself. But thanks, mate, she says, cracking a smile. Her face hits me like a glimmering beam of light, cleansing my darkness and filling me with joy. I'll never forget what you did back there, even if I never see you again after tonight. We must be on our way, Magil says. There's no way of knowing who else knows we're here now. I know, that bastard's causing us too much trouble. That's still Kid. Okay, they said they were Link's personal guards, yeah? They might have some valuable stuff on him. But before she even finishes speaking, Kid starts to search through the head goblin's clothes. Sheesh, there's really no need to be such a scavenger. Hey, what's this? She says, removing a small metal object from the goblin's pocket. It's a hand-shaped medallion of some sort, covered in archaic-looking symbols. It's a key, Magil says, walking over towards us. These markings suggest it unlocks a certain magical seal? Wow, well, they're lost, says Kid, casually putting the plate... It's a plate now! Okay, in her pocket. Damn it, they don't have any other good stuff. Cheap goblins. She stands up and looks around, sighing. I'd be a waste to leave all this loot behind, though. It'd be a waste to leave all this loot behind, though. We can always come back for it later, Kid. Who's talking? Kid turns around and grins. Yeah, you're right. Okay, let's go. The night won't last forever. I'm trying to think if I've seen a magical seal, per se. I don't really recall seeing something that looks like a magical seal. The stairs seem useless to me right now. The terrace seems like the place to go to get advice. I'm kind of curious whether I can get healed here. I mean, I'm not expecting to find a magical seal, but maybe I'll find the old woman again. The room is quiet, except for the sounds of the gears. There's no sign of the hooded lady anywhere. Hello? Ma'am? Well, if you're not here, say so, you old hag. Da-da-da-da-da-da. The silence is deafening. This is a waste of time. We should investigate elsewhere, says Magil, turning on his heel. We follow him out, okay. Apparently, I just can't investigate that room at all anymore. Maybe if I find, like, a gear or something, then it'll let me do something. Okay, I'm gonna go out onto the terrace just to see if I can get, Magil to tell me anything. Instantly welcomed by a cold nighttime breeze. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, he can heal me too? Okay. You've been injured, haven't you? Try to give your wounds some rest, at least for now. Taking his advice, I lean up against the wall and try to relax. Come on, we don't have time to loaf around. Let's get back to work, I hear kids say. Okay, well that was useless. I mean, I know where I can be healed. Okay, left we go. I'm not really sure where I'm going at this point. I'm just going. I'm gonna go downstairs so that I can go to the Mouth of Truth. Okay, let's see. Hello. I take the hand-shaped plate. Its strange, contorted symbols give me a headache just by looking at them. Nervously, I reach in and place it onto the tongue. It's a perfect fit. Sliding into place, I quickly remove my hand and back away a few steps. Dang it, I could have been healed if I had not gotten distracted. The huge white eyes start moving around slowly, and a slight vibration can be felt from behind the wall. Something's happening. Something's happening. Something big. I just wish I knew whether it's going to be, whether it's good or bad. An odd sound escapes from the mouth of truth as its eyes continue to roll. I want to make a run for it. However, I look over and see the ever-fearless expression in Kid's eyes and stay my ground. Suddenly, the marble sculpture stops moving. I stare at it, wondering what's going on. Then its tongue starts to roll around inside its mouth, while its eyes tilt further and further upwards until its pupils disappear underneath its eyelids. We hear the plate sliding down its throat, vanishing into the deep, dark depths of the mansion. What's happening? I have no idea who's saying this. I'm gonna go with, Magil. Apparently a pious being such as this may roll its eyes from time to time. The simple fact that Magil tried to make a joke just there, hey, I was right, makes me stop and forget where I am for a second. All that's gonna happen is you're gonna lose another one of my things. I can get a lot of cash for that, Kid says regrettably. Suddenly, over by the atrium, we start to hear some sort of latch being opened. And then, moments later, the sound of water draining echoes through the corridor. Taking a few steps toward the atrium, I see the red water has formed into a whirlpool and is flowing down into the pond. The piranhas are being washed away. What's the matter, little fishies? Not enough water? Ah, playtime's over, you nasty buggers. Come on, I'm dying to see what's past that fountain. That was probably also Kid. No, I could have been healed! Having crossed through the atrium, eventually we come to a split in the path. We can either go left or right from here. Well, you know me, always follow the left wall. Ahead of me, I hear Kid come to a sudden stop. What's wrong? I ask in a whisper. I look over, only to see Kid pointing down the dark hallway. Squinting my eyes, I try to look for something. Let me guess, another frickin' griffin. No, another skeleton. What is it? It's a skeleton. Blah, 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 blah. It's a skeleton. Ram it. Arg. It's a skeleton. Da, da, da. It comes... Okay, that was a misclick. 1 second. Okay, oops, I accidentally closed the game there, and when I restarted it, it didn't give me that skeleton encounter. Sorry, but the skeleton just vanished into the ether. The fast forward button and the close button are right next to each other. Thanks, Mednafin, good choice. Come to an old-looking door with a brass handle. Damn it, another locked door. I don't get it. There's no smell of gold or nothing. This leads to Viper Manor's catacombs, says Magil hesitantly. He's right. Standing here in silence, I realize there's a faint scent of death in the air. And then, putting my ear to the door, I start to hear deep, tortured moans from far beyond. I jump back, looking at the door. Let's try somewhere else. Really? There's people being tortured, so let's just leave them there to die? Okay, great. Seems like I'm a great guy. Forward we go! After a little ways down the passageway, we come to a descending staircase, and take the stairs. We slowly walk down the stairs, taking us deep below ground. It's as though we're descending further and further into an endless abyss. Elin in chat says that Skeleton must have been pretty brittle since he had vanished entirely from the game when I tried to fast forward. Once we reach the bottom, we come to another split. We can go left or right, but both paths look equally dismal. Well, then I'm going left. After a little ways, we're presented with a sturdy set of doors. There are only 2 styles of door in this game. Armory! I like armories. Armory, eh? The key to the catacombs has got to be in here. Kid places her ear on the door. Not a peep. Someone is here, however. Lynx! Hi! With a book in hand, a single goblin sits in... How do we know the dating status of this goblin? Sits in a chair, humming to itself. A sweet aroma fills the room, presumably from the teacup sitting on the table before it. There's something different about this goblin. It doesn't seem hostile in the least. Looking up from its book, it examines us from behind bifocals.
Welcome. It's rare to have visitors all the way down here.
Too bad we're not guests, Kid shouts. If you want to live, tell us where the key to the catacombs is. And with that, Kid takes her knife and thrusts it into the desk, slicing through the tablecloth. The goblin remains docile.
Ah, you must be the elusive Kid. I so wanted to see you with my own eyes. We've all heard so much about you.
But before it can finish its sentence, Kid grabs the knife and hurls it through the air. The goblin sets its book down, now unreadable due to the 7-inch blade protruding through it. It removes the knife and places it on the table.
Your reputation precedes you. You are quite a radical young lady. Nevertheless, it's a shame. I wanted to see how that novel ended up. Please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Esmeld.
That's the male form of Esmeralda, if you were curious. It says, offering a simple introduction.
Please, I do hate to keep my guests standing at bay. Come, sit, and we shall converse over tea.
My first thought is it's poisoned. Despite my concerns, Magil sits down. Well, I definitely trust Magil. Trusting Magil, I sit down next to him. Surely he's got something up his sleeve. Looking at Kid, she truly doesn't want anything to do with this. She remains standing, keeping a vigilant eye on Esmeralda. Black tea is set for 3 at the table.
Ah, there we are.
It's set for 3, as in the goblin, Magil, and me. He knew Kid was never going to have anything to do with it. After a moment, Magil takes the teacup and brings it slowly to his mouth. He takes a sip and then sets the cup back on the table. Esmeld smiles.
Ah, Himalayan chimpanzee.
Oh, that's Magil. Ah, Himalayan chimpanzee. I've not had this blend in quite some time, Magil says. So, there's a kind of coffee called Weasel coffee, usually, that before being, brewed, before I think even being fermented, has gone through the digestive system of a weasel, i.e. been eaten and defecated. Is that what we're suggesting here? That these tea leaves have already been eaten and defecated by a Himalayan chimpanzee? Is that what we're enjoying right now?
I see you are a gentleman of fine taste. I will have you know, not many of my visitors have known of this type of black tea.
Listening to their banter, I stare at my cup. Could it really be poisoned? Picking up the teacup, I bring it close to my mouth. It doesn't smell so bad. It's definitely not poisoned. Oh, I didn't even have the option to not drink it. Delicious, I exclaim. I've never had anything like this before. I mean, it must be pretty unusual if it's delicious in spite of being tea, which is revolting. I loosen up a bit, sitting back in my chair. Wait a sec, what's going on? My wounds, they're being healed. Finally! Looking over towards Kid, she seems to be enjoying it as well. Oh, she actually had tea. Okay.
So let's get down to business. Certainly the key to the catacombs has to be around here somewhere. Whether I remember where it is, however, that's a different story.
I asked if there's something he wants in exchange.
Something I want. Your life, perhaps,
he says, as his eyes light up from behind his glasses. Great.
Oh, you misunderstand.
Oh, I didn't answer fast enough.
You misunderstand, young man. I do not wish to harm you,
Esmeld says, noticing the sudden look of shock on my face.
I enjoy chatting with the many types of visitors that we have in the mansion.
You just said a moment ago that you almost never get visitors. How can you have many kinds of visitors if you've had like 3 total?
Surely as an adventurer, you must have plenty of interesting stories to tell.
True. Adding to this, he looks in my direction with a smile.
I look highly on unique stories and have been known to reward such storytellers.
Staring down the dark liquid before me, I start to rack my brain for a really good story. It has to be a story... do I not have a choice? Why don't I have a choice? A small girl okay, I had a choice in this sense. Okay. Dark Dreary Forest. Search anywhere and everywhere for the golden sunflower. Yeah, okay, that'll be more interesting. And so, after 3 days, the girl hadn't eaten a single thing.
A fine beginning, perhaps. Is that all?
No, on one evening, a girl walked through a forest searching for the only cure for her mother, the golden sunflower. After walking endlessly, the girl hadn't eaten in 3 whole days, and suddenly before her, she came across a gold light shining in a clearing. It was the golden well, that's a boring story. The girl put a few of the sunflower seeds in her bag. She was sure it would cure her mother, she thought. However, it was all a dream. With a happy face, the girl awoke ready to... This is the worst story in the world! He'd better not give you anything for that! That story was shit! Oh, brother.
A fairly interesting story.
Wow, this guy has low standards.
Here is the key.
Esmeld leans over towards the wall and knocks on a certain spot. There, a secret trap door opens up. He reaches in and takes out a key. However, as I start to reach for the key, Esmeld recoils his hand. Sighing, the goblin speaks.
Yes, I suppose you could say there is something more that I wish for.
I glance at Magil, then back at Esmeld.
Long ago, when I was a young foolish lad, I was involved with General Viper's daughter, Miss Riddell.
Riddell? The General's daughter?
Oh, you don't know? Indeed, Miss Riddell's true father was General Viper. Anyhow, for the sake of harnessing the power of the frozen flame, Lord Lynx abducted Miss Riddell.
Oh, she has something to do with harnessing the power of the frozen flame, huh?
Taking her as his own daughter, with that strange rock lies a strong mental connection to this peculiar mistress. And so I have resided here all these years, silently waiting for the right time to exact revenge on Lord Lynx for taking my dear Miss Riddell for me.
Ah, so you don't even work for Lord Lynx, you just sort of hang out.
If you have come in order to find Lord Lynx, promise me you will not mention any of this. You have come here to slay him, have you not?
Esmeld asked calmly, holding the key in his hand. Oh, yeah, sure, yes. Unfazed by the question, I answer truthfully. Well, this is sure a strange turn of events, hearing these things from a goblin who's supposed to be defending Viper Manor. I mean, if Lynx is an absolute jerk, then yeah, he's probably... he's made a lot of enemies who appear to be friends. All of a sudden, Kid interrupts. Hell with the time being, yeah, that's our plan, all right.
I see. Well, I certainly don't wish to detain you any longer. I would help you more, but I prefer not to openly side myself with either party, he says,
handing us the key, which is clearly siding with us.
Well, there is still something you got.
There's still something you got that I want. Who's saying that? Esmeld looks up, curious. How about some more of that great tea of yours? Esmeld thinks for a second, then reaches behind him.
Very well, 1 bag,
he says, reluctantly parting with the tea bag. Okay, leave it to us. Putting the tea bag down her bosom, Kid says to Esmeld, you don't have to worry about a thing. I never lie about my promises. Esmeld nods, smiling. Let's head out. The frozen flame bound to be around here somewhere, Kid says, heading toward the door in high spirits. Magil pays his respects, and we're off. Well, the armory sure was an interesting thing. Heading away from the armory, we come upon an upward staircase on the right. This passage also continues on ahead. It's on the right, so we're not going to go there. After a little while, the passage ends at a small door. Hey, I smell home cooking. Yeah, let's just go into the place where they're cooking. That seems like a really terrible idea. Yum! Rats! Oh, it's just a small kitchen. For the servants, probably, I add. I look around the tiny room. There's a sink, pots and pans, and a bunch of food in the cupboards. A rat hangs in a cage off in the corner, but aside from that, it's a pretty average kitchen. Is that not normal for an average kitten? An average kitchen? An average kitchen? To have a rat in it? No, because my kitchen has a rat in it. For next time, until then, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, tell me what other obscure games you'd like to see me play in the comments below. Cheers from Yahweasel.